Vincent Sweeney, Caribbean SIDS IWCAM. Nick O'Toole, Venezuela, current Large Marine Ecosystem Program. Nick Kachomi, Partnership Investment Fund for Pollution Reduction in the Large Marine Ecosystems of East Asia. Here's Andy!
Thank you, Don Pardo, and welcome to Indicators Jeopardy on this lovely Thursday morning here in Cape Town. So just to begin, I want to introduce our contestants. You heard them briefly. Let's start with Nick Kachomi. Nick, I understand you work for the World Bank.
Correct.
And how many countries does the World Bank presently have offices in?
About 170 is my guess.
Very impressive, very impressive. So can you explain to me why it is you can never find a World Bank ATM?
Well, if you ask the taxi drivers, they'll take you to an ATM.
Thank you, thank you. All right, next up, Jose. Jose, I understand you've put a lot of thought and actually probably some GF money into developing useful acronyms for people to better understand all the complex concepts and terminologies associated with ballast water management. Could you maybe help our studio audience better understand your use of acronyms, giving us an example of one of the acronyms you developed with all this GEF money?
Yeah, sure. And you know, when the ships travel to different places, they are not now allowed to discharge ballast water. And the captains would understand one acronym very well. It is Certificate of No Discharge of Microbes.
Of course, Certificate of No Discharge of Microbes. That's a fantastic acronym. Thank you, thank you. Okay, Vincent, welcome to Indicators Jeopardy. Came all the way from St. Lucia in the Caribbean. You work for SEHI, the Caribbean Environmental Health Institute? Used to, yeah. And now he is working through IWCAM, of course. No, I understand from a number of quite reliable sources that it's often extremely difficult to reach senior members of SEHI during a cricket match. Can you explain this?
Those of us who are hard to reach don't have Blackberries, but I'm always reachable, even if I am in the cricket ground.
Okay, and last but not least, our dear colleague, local colleague from the BCLME, Mick O'Toole. Mick, I understand in some of your previous employment incarnations that you were actually employed as a commercial fisherman in Ireland. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting. And don't you see a little bit of a contradiction in putting a fisherman from an EU country to boot, in charge of the Benguela current LME fisheries management?
Well, in the last 40 years, we had two Irish presidents of the US, Ronald Reagan, and Ronald's great-grandfather came from Ballyporeen in County Tipperary, and JFK's grandfather came from Gorey in County Wexford, so why not an Irishman from the west of Ireland running?
Thank you. All right, now, due to an agreement between Al Duda and myself and the CEO of GEF, each point that the contestants acquire by getting a question right is worth $1 million. And whoever ends up with the most points, the most $1 million, of course, that exact amount is a top-off to their GF grant. And Al is guaranteed this. Now, so before we get right to the game, we can do a little background. Last year, the GF International Waters Task Force set up a small subcommittee to work on indicators. And this was to try to improve on and better incorporate GEF concepts of process, stress reduction, and environmental status indicators into reporting through, among other things, the PIR format. So one thing we did first of all is we came up for each type of GEF project, starting, for example, with foundational projects, SAP preparation projects, we came up with a series of sort of generic outcomes, which are shown here. I won't go through them in detail. They're on your CD-ROMs, so you can study them at your leisure or over a drink. But these are sort of the generic broad outcomes we'd expect in a SAP preparation project. Similarly, going into a SAP implementation project, you'd expect a more advanced series of outcomes, functioning in interministerial committees, actual adoption and implementation of certain policy and other reforms at the national level, functioning in transboundary waters, etc. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first question. Metric tons per year of nitrogen reduced by a Bucharest, Romania wastewater treatment plant co-funded by GEF and the World Bank. And that is Mick? I can't see who's...
I didn't ring it out.
Bell, Vincent, sorry, I can't see. Vincent.
What's a stress reduction indicator?
That is correct, that is correct. Okay, number 2, adoption of a SAP by the Free Plata countries. Vincent.
What's a process indicator?
Yes. Next one, level of chlorophyll A in the surface waters. Vincent. Oh, okay, Nick was first, sorry. Nick.
What is a status indicator?
Wrong.
Environmental status.
Anyone else? Nick, Vincent.
What's an environmental status
Yes.
indicator?
The number of fish species identified in the Kura River Basin in the year 2007. Nick.
What is an environmental status?
That is correct. Adoption of a fisheries protocol to the Bucharest Convention. Cowbell. Vincent. No, I mean Nick. Sorry. Process indicator is correct. Thank you. Thank you. Next, completion of a TDA for the LSC LME. I heard Vincent.
I'm feeling that this is a bit unfair, but anyway. What's a process indicator?
Yes, that is correct. On to the next one. 500 kilograms of mercury emission to the Mekong River reduced. That is incorrect. Nick.
What is a environmental stress reduction indicator?
That is correct. Yeah. 500 hectares of wetland protected in the Teaser River and under effective management. Joe.
Stress reduction.
That is correct.
No more money back.
The Benguela Current Commission is established by a ministerial... I don't know who's first. I'll say Nick.
A process. What is a process indicator?
That is correct. Okay. 7 Pacific Island states adopt national tuna management plans. Joe.
Process.
This is correct. The average concentration of PCBs.
What's a stress reduction indicator?
No.
What's an environmental status?
That's the environmental status indicator. Correct. The static snapshot of the conditions in the Odendaal. Okay, the aerial extent of the Aral Sea. I'm Vincent. Vincent, sure. I heard you first. It's because you're the loudest.
What's an environmental status indicator?
That is correct. Yes. Pacific yellowfin tuna stocks in 2006. I think
You're the boss.
Nick, yeah.
What is an environmental status indicator?
That is correct. Okay, this will be the tiebreaker. It could end up in a tie, actually. This is the last question. Ready?
You are not going to answer, I know.
The Fiji government fully finances and constructs JOS. JOS can get it wrong first.
Stress reduction.
That is incorrect.
Oh, no.
Vincent.
What's a catalytic stress reduction?
That is correct. That makes Vincent our winner. Well, let's give a round of applause to Vincent. thank our contestants. Vincent Sweeney has now brought in $10 million of new and additional GEF incremental financing to the Crib SIDS IWCAM project. Needless to say, all that money will go through UNDP, not UNEP. And so we're very proud to have had this. I hope the audience enjoyed it and people actually learned a few things. So once again, thank you for joining us on GF International Waters Indicators Jeopardy. This will be on your local TV station every week at 7 p.m. Just check the local listings. Thank you. Thank you, Andy.